Why, hello there. Yes, I'm here. This is what I'm going to try and do for at least when I make MoReas. Yep. Been a while since I've done one of these, isn't it? I'll get into that momentarily. Now, today I will admit, really was not a very good day. There was something I actually tried to do earlier and didn't really pan out the way I wanted to. Thank goodness I actually have support from my very loving family, in spite of how, I will admit, with some of my family members, it's a little bit, strained. I mean, I'll be honest, it's my mother's birthday today, so happy birthday, Ma. Hope you had a good day. So, I'm feeling pretty down the dumps. I was feeling so down that I did not think for the life of me that watching Frozen 2, was going to make me feel anything. Now, in fact, I was feeling so bad, the best case scenario, I thought was at least going to help me take my mind off of how bad of a day I had. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, because I loved this movie. Holy cow. Let's see, what to talk about. Well, foremost, yes, I saw Frozen 2, and I loved it. Highly recommend it, of course. So, the main things I want to talk about, I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything. So, I want to talk about the 3 things that people are going to probably complain about, but don't bother me. Partly because, as I said many a time in the past, I'm a Frozen, a male fan of Frozen. So, obviously, maybe I'm sort of looking at it through, I guess, a tinted lens, maybe. But I'll tell you why the things that I will be talking about don't really bother me so much. Now, the first is Olaf. Now, Olaf, let's be real here, he is the comic relief. He is meant to facilitate, ease some of the tension that you would see in otherwise, grim situations. Now, it didn't bother me because the way they play it out is, Olaf is, a little bit older. So, he's trying to learn things. He's trying to be a little more knowledgeable. And they actually play that to the advantage of, the movie. See, that's one, if you see Frozen 2 and you're a fan of Frozen like I am, you're going to think, okay, they took the best and most memorable parts of the first one and they expanded upon that and, made them better, which is what a good movie does, or a good sequel does. I'll actually elaborate more on that momentarily. Now, actually, no, might as well talk about that right now. See, is this movie better than the first one? Well, it depends on what you mean by better. Like, are people going to be talking about it and going crazy? I'm actually holding on, let me put this right over here. There. Holding on to my notebook that I wrote the trailers in. I'll get to that momentarily. Is this movie better than the first one? Again, it really does depend on what you mean by better. Now, is it going to be talked about all over the place and, a big juggernaut like the first one was? Most likely not. This movie is meant to be a sequel, but it's a good one because it actually expands on the lore of this world that Arendelle takes place in, even though a lot of Disney film theorists are trying to make claims as to this movie taking place in the same universe as, like, Tangled and Tarzan and stuff like that. That it's all complicated. I'm not going to get into that at all. So in that regard, no, it's not going to be as big or as talked about as the first one. However, I will say it's better than the first one in terms of, exploring, like, making the world bigger is what it does, in a way that, you can follow along and understand it, which is great. Love that. So let's get into the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the music. Now, again, it could be through tinted lenses, but I think that's how it's described as. I think I used that analogy right. So, is the music better than what we got from the first one? Well, foremost, let me say this. I love the music in this movie. There is not, like in the first one, there is not one song that I dislike. I really could listen to each and every single one of these songs over and over again. In fact, who am I kidding? I'm definitely going to be doing that as, time goes on. Now, are any of these songs going to be the juggernaut and therefore overplayed song that Let It Go was? Well, there is actually one song I can think of that probably will be. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little bit underplayed. You will, however, know what the song I'm talking about is, because it's a song that Elsa sings. I say a song because she actually has two, to my knowledge. One other thing I want to talk about for Olaf. That being said, for Olaf anyway, let me just go back to Olaf for a moment. He actually had one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I guess I could, I don't actually know, I'm not going to give away what it is. All I can say is, you'll know it's my favorite scene in the movie, or one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Well, there's actually a lot of this movie that I really love. You'll know what scene I'm talking about, what the scene I'm talking about is, when you stay for the ending credits. Yes, there is actually an after credits scene. And it's great. Some people are probably going to complain about that Olaf is used. He's definitely used more in this one than he was in the first one, but I really wasn't bothered by it. To me, it was just, okay, Olaf is trying to be a little more, there are some things I'm thinking, okay, maybe you're using a little bit too much, but it's definitely not it doesn't bring down the movie. It really doesn't bring down the movie for me at all. So, there's that. There's something else about Olaf I wanted to mention. Again, he's not used too much. I personally think that, he's used appropriately. And, I loved it. I loved it when he was funny. He actually had some good scenes. I really do feel that, he may not be the greatest comic relief in history, but the scenes with him definitely work. And there are scenes where you really do feel for him. I don't want to give anything more away. So let's go back to the music. Now, again, is the music in this one better than the first one? It really will depend on what your opinion is. But with the exception of maybe one song, you're not really going to find a juggernaut like Let It Go was. Now, don't misunderstand. Now, what do I mean? Now, that can actually be a blessing and or a curse. What do I mean by that? Well, as much as people really like to make fun of how much Let It Go was played on the radio, and it was all over the place, really. Let It Go actually won the Academy Award for Best Original Song that year. And with the exception of maybe one song, you're probably not going to get. Now, I say, again, it's the song I mentioned earlier, that's an Elsa song. It's the song that Elsa sings. So, I hope I'm wrong, and I actually hope that it gets some sort of nod or is up for contention. I don't want to give away what song it is. Although, with my luck, it's going to be the song that I'm thinking of that no one else is. Because, again, she has, like, by my count, 2 of them. But, yes. The characters are great. Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Josh Gad, everyone who, everyone's great, obviously. I couldn't really say anything bad about the performances, really. Like, whoever the voice director was, I just saw the credits too. I can't believe I didn't pay attention to that. But yes, like everyone was on point. Like the characters, like again, these actors are definitely very, very, very comfortable in these roles. Well, they were comfortable when they did the first one. But yes, everyone is on point. Everything works. Like, again, I mean, if you're going with Rotten Tomatoes scores, obviously the first one is better. I mean, I think like the first one had like an 89 and this one has like a 77, which by all accounts is still good. I mean, some would even say it's great. Again, one of my favorite movies of 2015 was Kingsman, and it has like a 7, and it was actually one of the best movies of that year, and it has like a 74, but everyone loves it. So, again, there's some subjectivity there. So, do I recommend this movie? Yeah. Of course I recommend this movie. It was great. Like, I couldn't really say anything bad about it if I tried. Now, would you say that it's, again, is it better? It's up for debate. I mean, some people are definitely going to say it is better. Some people are going to say that the first one is better. All I know is, regardless of what you think is better, whichever one you watch, you're going to be thoroughly entertained. And I just want to say this as well before I forget to say it here. This is the second movie I've seen in a row, the other one being Steven Universe, the movie, where I will say flat out, I mean, we live in a post-Avengers Endgame universe now. Do I even need to tell you what the best movie I've seen this year was? That being said, 2 of the best movies I've seen this year, Steven Universe the movie and Frozen 2. 2 of the best movies I saw this year. Not only do I highly recommend them, not only do I give them glowing recommendations, and not only do they do great jobs of recapping what happened in the past so newcomers could follow along with the story, but they're both musicals. Oh, trust me. I've been listening to Steven, not that I want to take anything away from Frozen 2, but I've been listening to a whole bunch of songs from Steven Universe, the movie, and I'm definitely going to be listening to pretty much all the songs from Frozen 2. So, yes, I totally recommend this movie. It's great. I had a lot of fun. I mean, what's stopping me from being able to see it again is because, my time is a little bit precious now that, I live in Elmira and it's a little bit, hectic because I went to the Regal at Arnott Mall, and again, it's still more of a drive, but yeah, I had a blast. Like, again, it's Frozen 2 saved the day for me. Because, again, I was having a bad day today. Frozen 2 saved the day. Let that sink in. Now, how about we get into trailers? New place, new, as you would hear on Blue's Clues, handy dandy notebook. Oh, I have a little pen as well, see? My pen. So, let's get into what trailers we have. Oh, this one wasn't a trailer, but I have seen what they were talking about. They were showing a promo for Spies in Disguise, which now that Disney acquired Fox, they also have acquired Blue Sky Studios, and Spies in Disguise was a Blue Skies movie. Spies in Disguise was a Blue Skies movie. Wow, that was a lot of rhyming. But yeah, it's Will Smith, Tom Holland. Not the most interested in it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a bad kids movie. At least not as bad as people probably make it out to be. Now, let's see. I saw actually not one, but 2 trailers for Cats, which, okay, if you guys know me, you know I went to Horseheads. I did theater. My junior year, spring show, we did Cats. I was actually Tumble Brutus, if anyone cares to know what character I was. I'll be honest. I did that show. I actually saw when we did Cats at Horseheads, we actually saw, what the show was, like how the show was done, all the dancing and everything. I can tell you straight up, even now, I have no idea what's going on in that show. So, maybe the movie will help fill in gaps for me. I don't know. So, let's see. There's Little Women, which I guess Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan are teaming up again, because that movie looks pretty good. I'll probably watch that. And Emma Watson's in it as well. So, Harry Potter fans, unite. That's pretty good. Let's see. The Call of the Wild, that Harrison Ford movie that features a CGI dog. That dog is totally CGI. I mean, really, you can't even... No. Maybe I'm being a little too... I mean, let's be honest. I might as well be the one to start complaining about the CGI dog in Call of the Wild, because the entire internet is going to do that. But I did it first, so there we go. To my knowledge, I think I did it first. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Now, this is actually one that I wasn't expecting to see, but I'm glad. I mean, it's a trailer I haven't seen before. It's SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob on the Run, which, okay, you guys know SpongeBob. Dude, I'll put it this way. I am the Richard Sherman of SpongeBob fans. Do not try me about my SpongeBob fandom. You will be schooled. I am looking forward to seeing Sponge on the Run. I can't wait. You know, it looks fun. I mean, the only real concern I do have is the first 2 SpongeBob movies did in fact use a 2D hand-drawn animation, which was beautiful to watch. In fact, I'm actually not surprised both of those SpongeBob movies didn't get more praise than what they got. Oh well. This one is definitely sort of using a combination of actually what you saw in the Peanuts movie. It's clearly like 3D CGI animation, but it looks as if it's slightly stop motion as well. I like that. I actually dig that animation, so I'm looking forward to that. And the humor is definitely on par. I can't wait to see it. I saw the trailer for Scooby-Doo movie coming out in 2020. Now, one thing I definitely want to bring up about Scoob is, I've said this many times in the past, I am a huge fan of voiceover acting. I love and respect the craft, and quite frankly, it's something that I want to do. I would love to be able to do that for a living. But who knows? Maybe doing stuff like these videos will probably get into that. I don't know. But I love the craft of voiceover. I always wanted to be one myself. I love it. You know, that's another thing. I could probably be the Richard Sherman of voiceover fans. So actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, not the Richard Sherman. I'm not the Richard Sherman of voiceover fans. But again, I do love and respect the craft so much. And I say this because if there was ever a person you could deem as the current king of voiceover acting, it's Frank Welker. Now, I say this because for the last, probably 15 years at least, Frank Welker has been the voice of, originally way back when Scooby-Doo premiered, in the 70s, Frank Welker was actually the voice of Fred. Yeah, he's been doing voiceover acting for that long. And not only is he currently the voice of Fred in the direct-to-DVD Scooby-Doo movies, he is also the current voice of Scooby-Doo. So, yeah. To say that Frank Welker's been in the game for a long time is a bit of an understatement. Now, they got Frank Welker to be the voice of Scooby-Doo in the Scooby-Doo movie coming out in 2020. But he's not the voice of Fred in the movie. It's actually going to be Zac Efron, which I do like Zac Efron. But if you're going to have Frank Welker be the voice of Scooby-Doo in the Scooby-Doo movie coming out again next year in 2020, why don't you have Frank Welker be the voice of Fred too? I mean, again, it's Hollywood. Stars gotta make money. And again, Zac Efron, say what you want about his filmography past, but, he's done some good too. I genuinely think he'll be fine. Again, but again, a lot of voiceover acting fans are going to be really upset by that Frank Welker's not the voice of both Fred and Scooby-Doo, but I'm not going to be one of them. I am definitely one who will keep an open mind on this. Let's see, and finally, to top it off, not one, but two Pixar movies. Soul, which features Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey, which Tina Fey's doing the cowboy dance. That was actually kind of funny. And Onward, which is the second trailer we saw, which we sort of get a better idea of what the movie's about. So, yes, those were all of the movie trailers that I saw. So, final verdict on Frozen. In the name of all that is good and decent, watch it. You will be doing yourself a favor if you do. If you are a fan of Frozen, yes, I highly recommend you watch it. If you're a fan of Disney, yes, I highly recommend you watch it. If you like musicals, yes, I highly recommend you watch it. If you just want to have a good time, you know what? I guarantee you, if you're having a bad day, you can watch Frozen 2 and you're going to be and you'll be fine. You'll be feeling great. I know I do. Although with that being said, I'm probably now so excited, I'm probably not really going to be able to fall asleep for a while. I may very well have shot myself in the foot with that one. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering, what I'm wearing, it's wintertime. I think it's finally time to broke with the long underwear. Love that. Don't worry, I'm not, totally, nude underneath all this. I have some clothes underneath, but, I want to break out the long underwear, see. Plus, I love how form-fitting it is. Just like that one Simpsons episode. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. That being said, though, I do feel I feel kind of frisky when I wear this stuff. I don't know why. I just do. I don't know if I actually make that a regular thing if I do videos, but that'll be something I'll consider. Like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on the social media platforms, turn those notifications on YouTube. I am very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy today. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and I hope you all go see Frozen 2, because you will have a blast watching it. I know I did. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care, and make good choices, like seeing Frozen 2. See ya!